How are we doing, guys? And welcome back to All East TV. Well, what a weekend it's been. What a weekend it's been. Leeds United get that massive win over Sheffield United. Make sure you check out Jack and Tash's instant match reaction to that and the match day vlog as well, the fan cam. Check that out as well, guys. Two quality videos covering fantastically Leeds United's massive win over Sheffield United. I'll very briefly go into my thoughts on the game because it's been quite a hectic weekend and that lot, so I've not had a chance to cover the game on all these feet as of yet. But yeah, in general, I thought it was our best performance of the season, our best performance for quite a while, to be honest. And it was fantastic. From start to finish, it was fantastic. We created chance to chance, probably could have won by more. Defensively, it was good, very, very solid. Didn't really give anything away to Sheffield United at all, which is a tall order, to be honest. As much as Sheffield United weren't great on the night, they have still got quality players. So massively impressed in that kind of sense. And the midfields of Tanaka and Rothwell just grows by the game, just gets better by the game, as well as Rodon and Strauch, as well as Nonto and Ramazani. It's getting better by the game. And it's a massive win. But I do think there's a few other things to talk about. I'm not going to get too carried away just from one win, but I'm a lot more infused now. I'm a lot more into what we're trying to do. I think we're starting to see better and better quality football as the games go by. I think since Cardiff, I think we've been playing better by the week and by the game. And this video is all about the 5-point plan to getting a good run. Getting a good run between now and Christmas and giving ourselves that points gap on the rest and just pulling away from the rest at this point, because at the minute we're still 3 points off Sunderland, of course, but I do feel that sort of 7 wins out of 9, 8 wins out of 10 will probably have us quite comfortably into that top 2. And that's what we've got to aim for to finish in the top 2 this season. So this is, for me, is Daniel Farke's 5-point plan for promotion, partly, and partly to put us on a good run between now and Christmas, because it's such a crucial part of the season now. We've got game after game, not a lot of breaks, apart from another unwelcome international break in November. The never-ending international breaks. There's another one of those in November, but there's a lot of Saturday, Tuesday, Saturday coming up now between now and Christmas, and including Christmas as well. So let's go through a 5-point plan for Daniel Farke to put us on a monster run between now and then and really give us that points gap on the rest of the league. So let's go for it, because that's what we've got to be aiming to do, guys. We've got to be aiming to be finishing top 2 minimum and to be really separating ourselves from the rest of the league now. We've got the quality to do it. We've shown it on Friday. We've shown it at various stages of the season. Now we've got to put it together on a consistent run, because the most consistent we've done all season is 2 wins on the bounce. We've got to do more than that. We've got to be 4 or 5 wins on the bounce, things like that. So let's go through a 5-point plan. So first and foremost, rotation. Okay. Rotation. Now, I think this is probably one of our biggest weaknesses last season. This is both a criticism of Daniel Farke and both a criticism of the lack of depth in certain areas of the squad. I'll start with the squad. I think we've got a lot more rotation this season. I think you start with the winger options. You've obviously got Nonto, Ramazani. Then you've got Solomon, Dan James. The number 10 options, you've got Aronson, Perot, and then Nonto and Solomon can also play there. Up front, Joseph and Perot look like general options up top. Midfield, yes, we're going to have to kind of cope a little bit with that as best as we can with the lack of depth we've got because of 2 massive injuries to Ethan Ampadu and Eli Gruev, and of course the same situation at centre back. But the rest of the team, I'd say full back, wingers, number 10s, and up top, we can rotate, and I think it's something we do need to do. Now, last season we didn't have the depth at full back. We didn't have the depth out wide really so much. In terms of, there was quite a big drop off when we did try and rotate things out wide, and certainly number 10, it was a big issue as well last season. This season we have got the options, and this season Daniel Farke, I feel, does need to rotate more. Now, I'm not saying change the whole team. I'm not even saying doing it for this game coming up against Watford. I'm just talking in general. I think over the next couple of weeks we will need to rotate more. We will need to, switch things around at fullback and out wide really, because the wingers and fullbacks in this system and the midfield as well cover so much ground. They have to cover so much ground in the press and up front as well. Those 4 areas are covering so much ground. So the risk of injuries, fatigue, drops off in form are big with those players. Now, as I say, we can't do it in midfield, but out wide and fullback, and number 10 and up top, we can rotate. And I think we should rotate because there's not a massive drop off, I don't think. If you take out Brendan Aronson and put in Joel Perot or put in Manuel Solomon or put in Wilfred Nonto in the number 10 spot, I don't think there's a big drop off. And I think there's a case for doing that from time to time. Same kind of situation at fullback as well. We know Junior Firpo is one booking away from a suspension. You obviously got Schmidt, got Sam Barham as options. Two very, very, very solid options. So I do think rotation is important as well. In a long season, in a team that's covering a lot of ground, both in terms of pressing and when we've got the ball, I think rotation is something we're going to have to do this season. And let me know in the comments down below if you agree with this one as well, guys. Now, secondly, I've spoken about the ground we need to cover because number 2 comes to keeping on pressing. Now, as you guys will probably remember, I was super critical after Norwich. I was super critical after Sunderland. I was frustrated after those games. I think we played well for large periods of those games, but I did feel we took our foot off the gas in both games. Both games were there for the taking. Certainly against Norwich, I think we kind of respected Norwich a bit too much at 1-1 when we took off Ramazani with 20 minutes to go and went quite defensive, I think, towards the end of the game to see out a draw. Sunderland, we were 2-1 up, and then the last 10 minutes we made the Schmidt and Byram subs for Nonto and Ramazani and went to sort of like a 4 fullbacks on the pitch. I don't think it's something we need to do. I don't think it's something we're suited to doing, and I think that Sheffield United game proved it. We went 1-0 up against Sheffield United, and we didn't sit in. We didn't try and sit in and just hit them on the counter for a second goal. We kept doing what we're good at, which is pressing from the front. Brendan Aronson, Ramazani bring a lot to the press. Wilfred Nonto, I think, is improving in that regard all the time. Matteo Joseph, of course, is a very good presser of the ball. And Tanaka and Rothwell as well. You've got a good pressing unit there. Now, of course, Joel Perot isn't the best presser of the ball in the world. But, if you've got one player who doesn't press particularly well, you can still have a coherent pressing structure. And I think it's something we need to do this season. When we do go ahead in games, is carry on, keep pressing, and keep going for that second or third goal. And I think that's something we haven't done up to the Sheffield United game, but I think it's something we need to do. We don't go and sit in against teams and respect them and give them a chance of getting back into the game. Sunderland, again, we were super unlucky, and I said that at the time, but I was frustrated that we showed Sunderland the respect. We've got to show our dominance, and for me, we press superbly in games, but it's carrying on with that same mentality, even when we're 1-0 up with a lead to protect. It's carrying on, playing on the front foot and not dropping into a deeper kind of shape and just trying to see out the game. I think we just got to keep pressing and go attack versus attack, because with the midfield as well we've got Tanaka and Rothwell, there isn't sort of a defensive-minded player in that midfield. Both can do that job, but they're not, I don't think suited to just sitting in and protecting the back four. I think they're suited to playing box to box and being able to get up and down the pitch. So I really enjoyed the game against Sheffield United because the intensity from minute 1 to minute 90 was spot on, and we totally dominated the game. And I think that is the blueprint we've got to follow. It's the blueprint from pre-season. And yeah, it's Leeds at its best. Leeds, throughout the last sort of 7 or 8 years, have always been at their best. And in general, in the whole history of Leeds, when we've been working hard and relentless off the ball. And I think that has to be the case this time around as well. So I think carrying on pressing, and sometimes it will cost us. Listen, sometimes it will cost us going for games, when 1-0 up. We will maybe get caught out for 1-1, but I think with the quality we've got, I think we'll win a lot more games than we will lose playing this way. So let us know if you agree with this one as well, guys. Some may say, some of you guys may say that we should just sit in and protect Leeds, but I don't think it's something we're particularly suited to doing as a team. I think we're a team that's built to attack, and I think it's something we've got to carry on doing. So keeping on pressing, carrying on attacking is the biggest thing when we're ahead in games, and not sitting in and respecting teams too much. Now, the next one, which is arguably the most important and the one that's the least in our control. Great to know. Keep the key pairings together. Now, there's 3 key pairings I'm going to allude to here. Joe Rodon and Pascal Strauch, Tanaka and Rothwell, until obviously Ampadu or Grueva back. And the other one is Nonto and Ramazani. We need to keep these pairings together as much as we can. Now, of course, injuries, fatigue, drops off in form are things we can't avoid, but these are the 3 key pairings to promotion this season. Rodon and Strauch, it explains itself. For me, it is the best centre-back pairing in the league. It is a Premier League centre-back pairing for me, and I think it's shown over several times this season. Both are outstanding performances at this level and have been for a very long period of time. Tanaka and Rothwell, I think, are growing by the game. They're getting better and better. And I think the key now very, very key for this team, especially Tanaka. We need to keep that pairing together, particularly in the midfield, because we haven't got depth behind it. And then Nonta and Ramazani, I think if we can, the option of getting Nonta in the 10, combining with Ramazani and rotating is a great option to have, or Nonta and Ramazani on the right and left wing, swapping wings all the time. Another key pairing. Those are key pairings for promotion this season, and the three key pairings for me for promotion this season and winning games and putting a gap between us and the rest of the league. Again, let us know if you agree with this one, guys, but it's not so much a 5-point plan. It's one, whether we'll get luck with this one or not. But it's key, very, very key, probably the most important thing, but it's the least in our control, which is typical Leeds United, really. So that is number 3. Number 4. Breaking down the teams who sit deep. Now, this has been a constant weakness under Daniel Farke, I think. Certainly for large parts of last season, is breaking down the teams who sit deep. Now, listen, the last 4 games, Coventry, Norwich, Sunderland, Sheffield United were created chances galore. And in a lot of games this season, we've created chances galore. But I think it is our key thing, is finding ways to break these teams down. Now, I don't think when we play Sheffield United, Sunderland, and Norwich, they all allowed us space to play into. And I think you're naturally going to create more against those teams when they give you space to attack. Now, it's against the teams who don't give you space to attack, who sit deep. So it might be Watford starting tomorrow. It might be Bristol City on Saturday. We need to be more consistent in breaking down these teams. Now, there's several ways we can do this. It's Nonta and Ramazani again on the wings, both being able to beat the fullback and creating chances that way. Is it a case of, do we try something different at 10? In terms of Aronson, we know there's a great pressure of the ball. But I think when you play a team who sits deep, it maybe you want more of a Solomon type of profile in there, or a Perot playing behind Joseph, something like that. But we need to just find a constant way to break down these teams who sit deep. Burnley, at that stage in September was a big problem for us. I think it'd be a bit less of a problem for us now. But we've got to find that consistent way to break teams who sit deep. And I think that does start with the next 2 games. If we do find a consistent way of doing that, a lot of teams who try and sit deep against us will find it a lot more difficult. So that's another way to get a consistent run going. So breaking down teams who sit deep. And I'm sure many will agree with that in the comments. Let me know if you do. And let me know if you don't as well, guys. And if there's anything you want to add to this 5-point plan for Daniel Farke. Now, number 5, it goes without saying. It really does go without saying. Avoid complacency. Okay? Avoid complacency. Now, I'm thinking back to games where this has maybe been the case. I'm thinking possibly Portsmouth a little bit. In terms of we were so comfortable in that game at 1-0, I felt like it was going to be a 4 or 5-0 to us. Suddenly, a moment goes against us, and suddenly we're 2-1 down for half time. And it's games like that we've got to avoid. And whether complacency is the right word for it or not, I'm not sure. But you look at the back end of last season when we were absolutely cruising towards that top 2 after we beat Millwall. I think that was the middle of March. I think it's like 17th, 18th of March. After that, the form dropped off. All the games that we've been winning all season suddenly were becoming difficult. I'm thinking back to, say, QPR away. I'm thinking back to Blackburn at home. I'm thinking back to games like that last season, or Stoke away last season. Those are the games where we've got to be at 100% intensity and 100% performance. We can't have complacent games like that, where we just go through the motions for the first half of the game, and then we're reliant on the second half to pull us back into it. Because at this level, again, I know we have got a very, very high quality team, probably the highest quality team in the league in terms of quality, but you still need to avoid the complacency. And I do think it's something that from time to time last season, maybe that was the case. Whether the complacency is the right words or not being able to get ourselves quite right for those kind of games last season, that is very much the case. So let us know, guys. That is my 5-point plan for us putting a run together. Let us know if there's anything you want to add. But leave the like as you always, guys. Hit that subscribe button as well, guys. It massively helps us. And as I said, please check out Jack and Tash's post-match for Sheffield United and the Fan Cam. 2 fantastic videos covering comprehensively the Sheffield United win. And of course, will be plenty of Watford post-match content as well. And do as well check out, guys, Football Prizes. There is a fantastic competition live at this moment in time on Football Prizes. And we'll leave a link in the description down below for you guys to check out. It is a huge Leeds United competition. It's a Leeds United squad signed and custom LED framed away shirt, the beautiful away shirt. signed and LED framed. And there's 27 instant win prizes as well. So check out the details on that one, guys. There is just over a week to go, but the tickets will sell quickly on this one, guys. So make sure you get your tickets in quickly to avoid disappointment of not being in the competition, because you've got to be in it to win it. It's run by Leeds fans, fantastic people, Bill and Jack. So do check it out, guys. Leeds supporting Leeds as always. And there is plenty of other fantastic competitions for football prizes as well to check out, even outside of Leeds, for just general football, fantastic competitions and general football fans. So do check it out. Tell your mates about it as well, even if they're not Leeds fans. There's plenty of other fantastic competitions to check out. So, guys, I will leave it there. I've been Oscar, and I will see you later. Cheers, guys.